Join two sisters who explore the couples that fandoms adore. We write their stories in the night, in the glow of computer light. Eyes connect, clothing flies, in our head canon love never dies. Pencils that leave us pining, in deep forums we are mining. For this journey, better strap in, because we all know that shit happens.
Welcome to the podcast that explores the couples fans can't stop dreaming about from the pop culture you love. Because when it comes to your favorite early 2000s phenomenon, ship happens!
We're your hosts. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Emily.
She likes nerd culture.
And she likes making podcasts. So we thought we'd join forces to make a podcast about popular online ships.
And here we are. We've been plugging away at this for, 6 months? Maybe more than 6 months. This is going to be July when this one comes out. And we finally set up an email address. So if you want to send us your thoughts, couple recommendations, what you agree, don't agree about, you can email us at shiphappenssisters@gmail.com. That's shiphappenssisters@gmail.com. And yes, there's a lot of S's at the end there. And oh, by the way, we are sisters. If you didn't get that from the theme song.
We maybe haven't mentioned that recently. I don't know.
That's how we know each other.
Yep.
Birth.
Well, for you.
Yeah, Emily had the
16 months in there.
Beautiful time before. But this is actually very important that we have an email address now, because in the last episode we talked about making our own AO3 accounts, which is not something I've ever had. But Emily, you're getting it, so you can actually give kudos and read stories.
Yeah, so I knew I was like, this is gonna open a door. I'm gonna figure out how to work AO3, and then now that'll be a new hobby for me. So, and I'm in there, I'm reading, and I'm enjoying. So I want to give likes or kudos, and because I know people, comments. That's really nice when people like the stuff. You're putting all this work into stuff, you're putting on the internet for free to other people to enjoy.
Let's pause for a second.
I just want to
it's a lot of work to make something that you're putting out on the internet for other people to enjoy. So please tell us you like it. Leave us a rating or review. Send us an email at our new email address, shiphappenssisters@gmail.com. That's a very good point. I just wanted to call that out. But yeah, and we're paying it forward.
Yeah. So now I have an account. I was thrown off by the wait. I didn't realize there would be a wait, but that's fine. I waited.
And so that's why I made one too, because I made a joint email for us that I'm going to use to sign up for a more Ship Happens account. And then I'm speaking it so it becomes a reality. My plan is I want to start creating some fan fiction that goes along with the episodes that we're doing about some of the couples we're covering. I was inspired by Hayfie. So I wanted to actually start publishing stuff too. So maybe in the next couple weeks that'll start coming out, because that's one of my intentions I've set for myself, is to do more creative writing, because I like to fancy myself a writer, but I don't do any writing. So this should be fun.
Get back in.
But that's our little housekeeping section this week before we dive on in. And before we get to our big ship this week, which is a big ship that I feel both underprepared for and also I could talk about forever, so this will be interesting. But who are we shipping this week from our day-to-day lives? Who are our ships of the week?
My ship of the week, so not day-to-day life, because this is not something I've thought about in a while, but we're reaching back into our past to talk about something from our childhood as our big ship here. So I was like, what else was from our childhood? So I think we shared this fandom we're going to talk about, but we also, Rachel and I, shared the fandom of Alana, the lioness of Tortal.
The woman who rides like a man.
Yes. Yeah. Although we never, because we would listen to the audiobooks, and I don't think the library just didn't have the first one. So we just never listened to the first one. I read that later in life. But we we're really re-listening to book 2, 3, and book 4 and being very invested.
In her love life.
I think I did ship her with so the options. She was kind of love triangle between the prince Jonathan and then the thief, the rogue,
the lord, the lord, whatever, the rogue lord or something?
Thief king or something. Yeah. George.
Good old Thief King George.
Thief King George, who she does end up with, and that is who I was pulling for. I was definitely shipping her with George. She does, I think, have like kind of a fling in like the third book, which is very cool. Very like
she has casual sex, right? This is our feminist awakening. She not only becomes a lady knight, but she's going around. She's like leading armies or something. I don't know. And it's just like, this was my feminist awakening. I was like, and also one of the like main staples that made me want to be a redhead in my childhood. Red curly hair. I would have like literally
redhead
killed for it.
I do remember Alana's red hair and her magical cat.
Oh my God, that talks. I forgot that. I listened to this as an adult, like in college, and I was like, Emily, do you remember the fucking talking cat? Because I sure didn't.
I think purple eyes. I feel like maybe first with the purple eyes.
They both had purple eyes, her and the cat.
Yes. Oh, the goddess. Yes. She was blessed by the goddess.
Hell yeah, she was.
Feminist icon.
Right, this was like written in the 70s too. So it was like
that's right.
Peak second wave feminism.
Mm-hmm.
God
and it kind of created like YA, because you only like up until like Alana, you had children's books and then you had grown-up books. And this is like one of the first books meant for like teenagers.
Yeah, we love Alana. There you go.
We love Alana.
My ship this week is basically very new and based off one TikTok that I saw. And I think I talked last week about my love for Rachel Zegler, who played Lucy Gray Baird in The Hunger Games, the new one, The Songbirds, the Snakes. And now she's got this she's got this run in the West End where she's playing Evita. And I'm like loving seeing all the positive stuff come in, because she had like became a right-wing punching bag because of fucking Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Insane. Anyways, bless this girl. Beautiful, talented. Wish her nothing but the best. But there's like this TikTok of her like defending her bodyguard. She was like, guys, you have to respect him. Like, he's my Danny. He's here to help me. Crowds are intimidating, and you gotta respect my Danny. He's here to help me. And like and he's like standing in the background. Oh, the dark fantasy, the dark romance girlies are gonna love this. He's wearing like a dark suit, neck tattoos all the way up to his chin, like shaved head just ripped under the suit. You can tell. And I'm like, yep, I want those two to fuck. That's my ship. I would hate going into like real people territory. So weird. But I'm like, yep, that's what I want. I'm shipping those two.
You're like, I could take this moment and I could, change names, make them different people, and then like spin it into a bodyguard romance. That's a thing.
Yeah. That's out there. I mean, Beyonce and her bodyguard is like, people are very famously into that made up romance. So it's just like, I'm not the only one in there that's thinking these things. Because the top comment on the video I saw was this really funny person that said, I will respect Danny, but I would also be okay if Danny doesn't respect me. And I'm like, that's actually hilarious. I wish I was that funny. That person should get a podcast, not me.
Yeah. There you go. Or at least videos of them talking into a microphone like they have a podcast.
Right. So as usual,
Yeah.
Emily's is on theme and trend with the ship we're talking about. And mine is just like, if I have one, it's batshit crazy.
Well, it was on theme because you mentioned TikTok in the ship this week. It's a TikTok favorite for sure.
I got served a TikTok for it. So we had talked about it. I hadn't done any of the research because obviously it wasn't the day of. So I haven't done any research yet. And I got served on my For You page a TikTok about this ship. And I wanted to comment and be like, can you just tell me about it? Do you want to be on my podcast and tell me why you like it so much? So I don't have to sit here and watch videos and read. But this is a big one. And like I said, I could have studied for more than just today. And I feel like I would not be able to fully capture it or whatever, do it justice because it is so big. So who are we talking about?
So today we are talking about Dramione.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know why it's that kind of music.
From Harry Potter, obviously.
Arguably one of the bigger ships, probably. I don't know. I've heard more randier ones, but this one seems to have a chokehold on people, like heavy on the choking holding.
There does seem it's fanfic. There's a steamy aspect, but like a dark steamy aspect to it specifically.
Literally every fan edit I saw was in the dark. It was like they were in a dungeon.
Just silent. Yep. They're in a castle, I guess, small windows. But anyway, so what do you think? What do you think about the ship name? Dramione.
Malranger? I don't know. It's fine.
I think it's fine. I think it kind of flows pretty well. I do think it's funny that it's based off a name that no one could say for like 10 years until the movie came out.
Truly, because we listened to the audiobooks, and the audiobooks person called it Hermione.
Hermione. Oh, he said something different for a while.
The audiobook maybe said Hermione.
Yeah, so my issue with this name is that I can't spell it, so that was difficult. And there's too many vowels, and I don't know what order they're in.
Yeah, Draco's easy, but Hermione was never an easy one. And I just like, why is this the Muggle-born person, the one with the weirdest fucking name? Nobody's naming their child Hermione in England. Well, in the 90s before this came out.
Yeah, now. We'll see.
I know. Now there's probably somebody named Hermione. That's probably a name on its own.
Someone out there. See on the tragedy Reddit.
Yeah. Tragedy.
Tragedy. But anyway, so yeah, our experience. I mean, we're millennials. We have experience with Harry Potter.
Right. Right. Not Deathly Hollow tattoos level, but
no. I will say, yeah, I think because of our Lord of the Rings love, that kind of took up the space in my heart.
It eclipsed
that
it.
Could have been Harry Potter. So worked out for us.
I just don't think Harry Potter ever would have been the same for us because we're too much of like contrarians. We can't like something that everybody else likes that much. Harry Potter it transcended nerd culture in a way that Lord of the Rings never did.
Yeah, never didn't get out to the wider world. So right, we knew about Harry Potter. We read the books. I feel like we maybe even went to some midnight premieres for books, for movies.
Yeah, it was definitely more than a passing interest, right?
Yes. It definitely took some quizzes about what house I was in, was disappointed by the results, lied about it. Yeah.
Why? What did you get?
Oh, Hufflepuff. No one wants to be a Hufflepuff.
I think everybody is a Hufflepuff. Didn't we say that in the last one? Everybody wants to be something
Nobody
else.
who's a Gryffindor is taking quizzes about what house they're in. They're playing sports. Yeah.
Right. I pretty consistently got Slytherin because I was very ambitious there for a time in my life. So I'm a Slytherin. Ain't no shame. Yeah, it was a big part of our childhood. And it has a soft spot in my heart, despite the fact that it's like a little overdone, in my opinion. But like our introduction was our dad reading the book to us and doing the voices and whatnot. So of course, the first 3 books are going to have a very soft spot in my heart. And then it became this thing that I like kept on to keep on because everybody was doing it, you know, like we would have we'd go to the midnight premieres and then everybody would read the book as fast as they could. And I was
we'd have to like battle over it. We only had one book between like 3 of us and mom.
Yeah. So, and I was the last one to get it because I was the slowest reader. And also I just like didn't care as much, I guess. So I was just like, I'm just doing this because everybody else is. But it was a big part of our childhood. I had a Harry Potter birthday party. Do you remember that? Where we all got sorted into houses. And
we had a little competition, house competition.
Yeah, and I rigged it to get into Gryffindor.
Well, you were the birthday girl.
Yeah, we rigged it somehow. So that was funny. But yeah, so it was a big part of our childhood. But then as I grew older, I kind of left it behind.
Yeah, it's another series where I'm not sure I ever watched the last movie. Like up there with like Hunger Games and Twilight.
Yeah.
I think I ever saw any last movies. I don't particularly remember any shipping hopes. I think there was some shipping thoughts between the 3, the golden trio. So that's Harry, Ron, and Hermione. I don't particularly remember caring that much who ended up with who. I do remember finding the epilogue a little bit stupid when everyone's married to their high school classmate and they all got 2.5 kids and they all got dumb names.
Really stupid names.
Yeah, it just felt unnecessary.
And I remember not only did we like read the books and all that, we also used to play pretend Harry Potter, Emily. I don't know if you remember
Harry
that.
One of our
like 3 games we'd cycle to. There's that, Hank the Cow Dog, and then I don't know, something else, horses. Our horses had a great fucking melodrama. But this isn't the horse shipping, which we had some ships there.
Oh yeah, we did our horse shipping. There were some love triangles. Yeah, sure.
But this isn't the horse shipping podcast. This is the Harry Potter shipping. I think there was some Draco shipping in there. I think there was. I vaguely remember it wasn't ever like, oh, I'm Hermione and I'm like making out with Draco. It was like I'm like some cool Slytherin girl with ice blonde hair and ice heart. Or something. I feel like Draco was involved romantically at some point. I don't know. Our mom listened. She can tell us. She used to eavesdrop on all our games.
With the what are they called? Oh, it's original character.
Yeah, we made it up. It's self-insert.
Yep.
Idealized
Probably.
self-inserts. We are also children of the early 2000s where we were taught, we can fix him.
And that if he's mean to you, that means he likes you.
Right, which is a very big dynamic here. That's like what this whole thing is based on.
Yeah. I mean, I have in what I think a previous episode talked about my ship of the week. I do have a book, Carry On, which is, if not Harry Potter fan fiction, in conversation with Harry Potter. And that one is about the like chosen one getting with his his kind of posh nemesis. So like, I love that book. So like, I get it.
Right. So you see the appeal.
Not Hermione, but yeah. I love it. Yeah. Enemies Lovers is good. When done right, it's good.
Right. I mean, that's why it is what it is, right? It is a thing for a reason.
And so popular. Like I said, we haven't really participated in the Harry Potter fandom recently, but yeah, I knew about this. I read a lot. I like to watch stuff on YouTube about books, on stuff on Instagram. And I love book drama on Instagram and on YouTube because it's just so like still low stakes.
Yeah, you can just be involved in it, and at the end of the day, it's not like there's so much serious in the world, like who imaginary characters end up with is like really low on the
so I knew this was big because that had started to creep into like the content I like. So
see, I guess I knew this was a ship, but I didn't know this was as popular as a ship because I thought all of the online shipping was gay. Sorry. I was like Draco Malfoy, or Draco and Harry, Drary or whatever. I knew about that. Harry and Snape, heard of that. All of the Marauders being super gay together, heard about that. But like, this was to not rank high on my list of like where I thought popularity was in the Harry Potter shipping.
Me either, right? I thought, I knew Harry Potter fan fiction was big, and I just assumed it was all like Marauders, like that era, when you could just totally make it up. But yeah, but of course now this is big, and so now these are the books that get published, which is a little annoying to me. What do you talk about it?
We'll get into it. We've talked about our experience with Harry Potter, and we've kind of hinted at the vibes of the couple. I mean, like, let's be real. If you're here, you probably know at least like the ins and outs.
Right. We don't need to get into Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's a boy wizard who gets a letter and discovers he's the one chosen special boy who has to kill the guy without a nose. This man who's in his like 70s is obsessed with a 12-year-old, and it's weird. And
he does it. It all works out in the end.
Yeah.
But he couldn't have done it without his two besties. One is Ron, his guy friend.
That's just
He's redhead.
Ron.
He's Ron.
That's it.
He has a lot of siblings. And then you have the girl, and she's Hermione. So yeah, 1/3 of the Golden Trio. She is a nerd. She's kind of like the way for the author to tell you what's happening. Because I wouldn't say Harry was always with it. But if he needed Harry to know some info, Hermione knew it and could tell Harry about it.
Right. That was kind of the setup, is Harry is immersed in this world he knows nothing about. He has all these questions, or even just like she can't have him look stupid. So Ron was the one who asked all the questions, and then Hermione was the one who answered them. And that was, kind of what you wouldn't expect, because Ron is like a big old wizarding family, and Hermione is this thing that they call... Well, I can't say it. I don't want to say a slur. I don't want to get canceled. But she's born of non-magical parents. So she's the first witch in her family. And apparently that's a big fucking deal in Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. It's like not an ideal situation in the wizarding world. So she's kind of overcompensating for that, right? A little bit. I feel like the character is, she was already a perfectionist. Her parents are dentists. So that probably puts you in the frame of mind of how they are. But then she comes in again into this whole new magical world, and her parents are embracing it for her. So she gets all this, gets to delve into it. And I don't know, she's just eager to prove herself and just also be the best witch she can be. And that makes her kind of a know-it-all, right? And kind of not super popular in the first book. I think she doesn't join the Golden Trio right away, right? She has to kind of like build up a fondness for each other after they save her.
Yeah, they have to like fight a troll together in the bathrooms. I guess that's kind of trauma bonding, and then they're besties after that.
Well, because Ron hurt her feelings or something, and then from there they became friends. And this character was portrayed very famously by Emma Watson, who she's also some kind of UN person and went to college for a while, so she's done a lot in her life. But she's, of course, Hermione Granger.
Right. So yeah, Hermione, I think just a great self-insert for the nerdy girls reading fantasy books
About little wizard
identify
boys.
with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she gets her glow up at some point too, where she becomes hot.
Yes, she gets
a transformation. So just really on par for all of us, like you said, to self-insert and be like, we will be beautiful one day.
And in the end, so she ends up with Ron. So out of I know it's shipping with her with some Harry,
I guess.
but she ends up with the other one.
Yeah, I guess we were most of us were just rooting for her and Harry because it's like main boy, main girl, like duh. But all of the ending relationships made zero fucking sense to me. Where did Ginny come from? I don't know. And then Hermione ends up with Ron, and I was just like, what? I think they actually tried to start playing it up in the movie earlier more because they're like, I guess we got to make this believable somewhat.
Yeah, I think they had to set some stuff up. I remember some stuff with Ginny in the movies that being very, very awkward.
I don't know. I didn't buy it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just like, where did she come from? It's just at the end, she was just like, all of a sudden, everybody's kissing people.
Yeah. Yep. Because you got to meet your future spouse at high school.
Yeah, that's weird. Who
Can't have any lives.
Who would?
But that also seems to be their whole world. Like everybody just goes to high school and then I guess they get to be adults after.
Yeah, they don't have.
So
Well, yeah,
there's nobody else to meet.
Lily and James was like they were killed at 21 with their baby, married and had a baby. So there you go. But yeah, who meets their spouse in their teens? That's crazy. Says me.
All of them, everybody.
Well,
Nobody.
I met my
get a
husband
job.
when I was 19. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
So I have
Well, yeah.
glass house here throwing stones.
Anyway, yeah. So second person. There's two people in this couple.
Oh yeah, we got really caught up on Hermione.
Yeah. It's okay. We don't need to say much about Draco. So who is he? He's Harry's school nemesis. They meet before when Harry's buying stuff. And then they meet on the train and Harry kind of rejects his friendship. So then from then on, it's like fist on sight with Draco. He's kind of Harry's nemesis.
He's his biggest op.
Bully. Yeah, yeah. Up until like the Dark Lord shows up. Then, things get a bit more serious. Right, he started off just kind of an asshole. He's just a loser. He's like a rich loser. He's a snob. And he turns out he's also fantasy racist against like Hermione and specifically.
Yes. Yeah.
Then becomes fantasy wizard Nazi. He becomes a Death Eater. But then I guess he feels bad about it at the end. But not like as bad. He's like
indoctrinated, right? Because his parents are like big deals in the bad wizarding world.
Yeah,
and he's
it's kinda
rich and snooty, and like I saw him painted by some of the people describing him in my research today that he was like deeply insecure and not really sure about his place in the world. So because of that, he like lashed out to try to like make himself feel safe. Not saying that that's excusable, but when you take away the racism, right? The prejudice, and there's like a little hurt puppy inside that makes people feel more fondly for them. Right. And there's so many people who grew up. I see that on TikTok too. They're like, I was the captain of the Young Republicans in my high school. And they're like, now I'm better.
Yes. Right. When you consider that like they're 17 when these books end, it's a little bit easier. And his parents were like deeply involved.
Well, he was
12. They were very fantasy racist.
Yeah.
At the start. Yeah. It's kind of like, what chance did he have, really?
I mean, and he was kind of the foil to Hermione, right? Because he was the same thing. She was literally cocky and not like, about her knowledge to cover up her insecurity. He was covering up his insecurity by being a pompous asshole, by being like, I feel like I'm worse than everybody else, so I'm going to pretend that my family makes me better. Just like she's like, I worry I don't belong here, so I'm going to overcompensate by being as knowledgeable and good at everything as I can. So I feel like it's almost the same sides of or different sides of the same coin in that sense, which is maybe where some of this stuff comes from. Yeah. But if you just read it at face value, he's just an asshole. He's like,
in the books he's an ass.
You don't have to think that much more deeply about it.
Shit.
Yeah, he's just the rich, snooty, 1980s villain with a puppy vest.
Yeah, and he's really not the main villain of the series. That's Voldemort. So in the later books, he doesn't get a super well like built out redemption arc or anything. Like there's I think hints of him being redeemed, or at least like he's supposed to kill Dumbledore, he can't, and then apparently he might be redeemed a bit in Cursed Child, the play that I was not going to look into or read anything about, so so that could just not exist. I don't care.
But so we met our two starring.
Those are the two.
Yeah, starring lovers here. Now we have to decide: was their first meeting a meet cute or get the boot?
So I don't know. Like I'm not sure we get to see it. So I couldn't find anything about it, which kind of makes sense, right? Because the book is from Harry's perspective. So you get Harry meeting Draco and Harry meeting Hermione. And since they become friends later in the book, I think they already had met. So there's no real meet cute or get the boot besides just I don't know. They became aware of each other, I guess, in school.
Right. And they did not have very positive interactions.
No. So I guess mostly the vibe is that, yeah, they don't like each other.
I think in the first book or the first movie, the first school year, they do have a confrontation where Hermione, that's where she gets called the slur, mudblood. I'll say it because it's not a real slur. But he calls her a mudblood to her face. And then that's where we learn that the wizarding world isn't all what it's cracked up to be.
Now, anyway, for meet cute, I mean, I guess it's, do you like bully romance?
Do you like guys pulling your pigtails on the playground? Because if so, this is for you.
Yes.
If not,
I had it. I had a nemesis in elementary school, and
it was not hot.
I'll never forgive it.
Well, okay, and that's the thing. I don't want to jump to the end, but people are all talking about people change. I'm like, yeah, you can change from how you were in elementary school, high school, whatever, but people are never going to forget how you treated them, especially to the point where they then want to date you. Come on. I think high school or schoolyard bullying is very traumatic for the people who have been bullied.
I will get to it. Because I agree. Like maybe he can change and maybe he could end up with mudblood, but it doesn't have to be the one he bullied in high school, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot to ask for. But yeah, so I guess in the kind of a vague meet cute, sounds like it's get the boot.
Yeah, for us sitting on this side of it.
Yep.
But so that antagonistic relationship definitely plays out over the course of their schooling. Mm-hmm. But yet people find opportunities to show that there was maybe something going on there, a little bit of tension brewing. And what is shipping, if not squeezing the tiniest little droplets out of a canon material to create a whirlwind romance?
Right. I really struggled with this one. I was just looking it up and I was like, but do they interact at all? Like,
well, more so than
what is in there?
Yeah. What could this possibly, what droplets can we wring from the source material?
So from Googling, what I've been figuring out, the actual ship, so some moments from the books, I guess mostly, that where they at least interact. I think in the first or second book, Harry overhears Draco's dad kind of like berating him for Hermione getting better grades than Draco. And it's kind of implied that I guess he knows that because Draco talks about her. So what's that about?
Yeah. In the movie, Luscious goes, "You must be Miss Granger. I've heard all about you." So apparently Draco's like, and I mean, the lady doth protest too much, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, the more you complain about somebody, the more you like might secretly have a thing for them.
Yeah, right? We really didn't care. We'd be talking about it. There's also, I think, there's the moment pretty famously. I think in the book, she slaps him. And then in the movie, it's a full-on punch. So people, I guess, really see the tension there. Also, just because he just kind of takes it. He doesn't even, like...
retaliate?
Yeah, he just kind of, like, walks away.
He's just like, okay, bye, thank you.
Yeah.
I have to go to my room and pull the curtains around my bed for a while. Like, nobody bother me.
Yeah.
Gotta work through some stuff.
Yeah, I gotta need some time alone.
She touched me.
So I think that's third book, and then fourth book, there's a really weird moment. So bookworm Hermione, accidentally skips a class. And when Ron asks her about it, she says she was thinking about Malfoy and lost track of things. Or maybe
Yeah,
that was the same book. Yeah, it's like, what?
I miss the context. Like, what is the context
I
of?
think maybe she was thinking about like what he could be up to, you know, like his plans. But
Yeah, I just Googled that and I couldn't get any more information. But
Yeah,
I was like, girl's just in her head thinking about that guy.
I know. Enough to skip class when that's like she gets a little time turner device specifically to go to
back
more of those.
in time.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so maybe the context is that she just missed it because of the time, and then she like made up an excuse. But
I don't know if that was the book when she had it or not. I don't remember which book that was, but I kind of thought
That's the
maybe
third
she
book.
was lying. Yeah, but yeah, that one's a bit odd.
But there's a grain of truth in every lie.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Yep. And then let's see, there's a moment in the fourth book, the start of the fourth book, when the Death Eaters first show up. I think it's at the like a
World
Quidditch
Cup.
World Cup or something. Yeah.
Yes.
So the Death Eaters show up, they start terrorizing people, and then Draco just kind of pops up and he's like, hey, you know, they're looking for muggles, so like Hermione, you better like keep your head down. So it's like kind of warning them, but in like a really shitty, creepy way.
And I looked into this more, and there was definitely some weird sexual undertones in this, which, first of all, where did they get this muggle woman from? Was she at are there some muggles who are, like, loosely related to the wizarding world, or did they just, like, pick up a muggle lady off the street and bring her there?
I don't know. Yeah.
She had to have been there. I feel like there's got to be, like, some wizards or whatever who date muggles. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, so they found this lady, and they're, like, torturing her with magic, and in part of it, they flip her upside down so her skirts falls down so you can see her underwear. And when warning Hermione to get out of there, essentially, be like, oh, they're looking for muggles. You better look out, you mudblood. He was like, you wouldn't want everyone to see your knickers or something like that. And it's just like, what? It just... And then as put by Reddit user Curse of a Black Lion, they were like, he thought he's either warning her genuinely, but it doesn't come across that way. He thought it would be funny if they did the same thing to Hermione, right? Like he would be interested in seeing her panties, and to quote Curse of a Black Lion, that's so messed up.
Yeah, I don't know. This
is not a cute interaction.
No, and there's some other stuff like where he like threatens Ron, or he I think calls her a slur, and then she like holds Ron back, and he goes like, "Good choice, Granger," and it's like he breathed it, and people are like, "That could be something." It's like, no, he's like lording his power over them. It's not cute. It's like, yeah. It's like, ugh. When I read it, I was like, that's kind of gross. Yeah. Because he's got the Inquisition team or squad or something. Like, it's bad. But
Inquisition
normally would never
squad.
be in the Inquisition. Yeah, but in the same book later, when Hermione has her glow up and shows up at the ball, the book says that she's so beautiful that even Draco has nothing to say. So,
it's like, what?
Can't even be
The
mean because
nerd
she's so
was
hot.
the whole time. Now that she's beautiful, she's worth respecting.
Yep. So, yep. And I guess later, sometime in that book, this is the Mad Eye Moody book, right? He turns Draco into a fairy, and we all love it. But Hermione doesn't.
I remember the glee when I read that chapter. It was great.
Well, he's being a creep, so don't be a creep.
Always.
Yep. Let's see. And then at some point, Harry also floats that Draco is a Death Eater, and Hermione does defend him. She doesn't think so, but she's super wrong.
Yeah, bad judgment. Maybe she's clouded by her secret crush.
Yeah, and then it gets pretty dark in the later books. So Hermione gets tortured by his aunt Bellatrix. I think in his house, maybe in front of him.
Oh yeah, he's there.
Yep. And so he identifies Ron and Hermione, but he doesn't identify Harry, because that would have been,
Like
instant
the end
death
of Harry.
for Harry.
Yeah.
So and this is kind of when he starts maybe being like, he's like, I'm like an ass, but I'm not like that bad.
He's like, I don't want to be killing people.
Yeah.
Torturing people.
Starts getting a bit too much. Those are some of the moments I read that they were like, maybe there's something there. But in the end, I don't think any of this matters. I don't think that a lot of the shipping is built at all about their interactions from the book. I think it's just vibes.
Yeah, I think it's just it's a modern spin on this old story based on what people like in their romance novels.
Like it's kind of just built on tropes.
Right. They identified the pieces and they said, we're going to put them together in this way that I like.
And I think the movies
more, credence lent to it through the movies.
The movies we have, we said Hermione played by Emma Watson, Draco played by Tom Felton. I do kind of specifically remember in like the 5th or 6th movie where they make Draco a bit more sympathetic and he's very like tortured and conflicted. And then I do remember him being like very sad boy in those movies and kind of being like, okay. There's like something going on here.
He simpered a lot. He's kind of I'm conflicted.
Yeah, it's so sad. So I think people find Tom Felton hot, and obviously Emma Watson's hot. So right, that helps.
I definitely think this is another one that's driven by the actors, not just by their appearances, but also by their chemistry, because they're apparently very close off screen or whatever. They're people who've had very long and intimate relationships, even though it's remained platonic. At a time, I think I heard a while ago that at a time where all the boys on set had a crush on Emma because she's probably the only fucking girl, but she had a crush on Tom, who in turn didn't notice at all because he was too busy crushing on Helen Bonham Carter. But no. So I got the story from a TikTok today, a TikTok of an interview that he was giving where his hairdresser, the hairdresser for the kids, was meddling in some kid shit. And it told, like, why do adults feel the need to get involved in this? So stupid. She told Tom that Emma liked him. But he was like, well, I had a girlfriend at the time. And blah, 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 blah. But also the fact he was 15 and she was fucking 12. No 12 or no 15-year-old wants to date. Like, come on. If he did want to date her, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, 12 and 15, like, so close together in 8, like, just 3 years. But, like, at those times, that's different. It's wildly different.
Wildly different.
12's still very much a kid. Yeah.
It would be weird. And so essentially they were just kind of ships passing in the night where she had this crush on him for a long time. He apparently had a girlfriend like that lasted a while. And by the time he kind of came around to what was happening, she had obviously moved on. You know, she wasn't just like this little tween starlet. She's like UN ambassador to the world or something. So obviously they just never quite connected. But I will say they do look good together. There's videos of her riding on the skateboard with him. And apparently there's another story there too where like he was drawing a picture of a girl with a backward hat on the skateboard. So then at later time she was wearing a backward hat and they went riding on his skateboard. So it was like she was definitely like laying the groundwork. Or, she was. It reminds me of all these stories. Again, I hear people talk about like the tankini girls who are like trying to, when you're 12 or whatever and you think that you're going to make the lifeguard at the pool fall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
You dress up for the One Direction concert because he's definitely going to see you in the crowd.
He's going to notice you in the crowd and pull you out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I felt like a little bit like that, but it's just cute. And it's good that he held the boundary.
Yeah.
Even 18 and 15 is probably, not an ideal dating situation, in my opinion. So good for them, and good for them for finding something better than a fleeting romance, which is a lifelong friendship.
Aww.
But all this is told through the eyes of Tom himself. So I also wonder if it's a little bit creepy where maybe he's just like milking this crush she had on him for the rest of his life. It's just like low-key kind of weird. But they definitely did look like they liked each other in some of the snippets that I saw. But not only is this like played up in the movie potentially a little bit more or, bolstered through the chemistry of the actors, but this was also confirmed by J.K. Rowling at some point, I think, according to my research, that she said that she believed at some point Draco did have feelings for Hermione. It's maybe like too mixed up in the, I'm better than you or blah, blah, blah. Like he could still see through that and respect her in a way, even if it came out as like, I'm going to try to knock you down as much as possible because I don't know how to handle the feelings that I have. J.K. Rowling also said that Draco Malfoy is not a type of character that she would like in real life, essentially. She's just like, he's not that great of a person, and he definitely wouldn't make a good romantic partner for anybody.
Right. She also said that the wizards used to shit themselves and stuff, so I don't know.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling really kind of went off the deep end.
Yeah, she just be saying too much.
Just take your money and run,
You
girl.
just stop saying stuff. Yeah.
And, okay, did she write The Cursed Child, or did she
I
write
believe
it with
so.
someone?
Yes. No, I thought she wrote it. It's like canon, yeah, but...
So there is a line in that says, Draco says, am I being bossed around by Hermione Granger? And kind of like it or something along those lines. So it's like a little bit played up the Dramione angle there too.
I believe he's a married man though, because obviously they're all married. But
Well, yes. Yeah. Is he married? I believe his wife dies of cancer, or is that just all the fanfics?
oh, maybe I don't know. I know. I thought his wife was in the play, so that might be a fanfic.
Maybe. Well, it's
Who knows? I don't know.
Is that not true to life? That
Everything-
people in the late Middle Ages reuniting with their high school?
Oh, yeah. When the marriage is a little rocky.
Golly. The
no,
kind of lady who does that is the same kind of one who meddles in teenagers' love lives. Sorry, I'm thinking of a very specific teacher I had.
Anything I learned about the cursed child has been against my will. So
Yeah,
know
it's
nothing
really
about what
like
happens
I like to compare it to like Love Never Dies, the Phantom of the Opera,
Yes.
that's gonna come up again here later, where it's like fan fiction that somehow became canon. And
Yep.
it's just like let it go.
But
Sit
who
on your
can't let
cash
it go?
cow.
Tom Felton. I believe he will be starring as Draco in it soon.
Oh,
I
for
saw
sure,
that.
yeah.
No, like literally, he will be. He is. Yeah.
No, yeah, I saw. Yeah, that's
I
like
saw that
making the news, and yeah,
Yep.
he's like sexy this time. Whereas CGI Tom Felton at the epilogue of the whatever Deathly Hollows, he was not as sexy. He got done dirty, but now he's hot. So there you go.
Maybe the Dramione shipping has influenced. Probably.
Oh yeah. You didn't just fall out of a coconut tree, right? Like everything exists in the context of what
Yep.
came before it. So, can't just not have
They're like, this
hot
is how
Tom
we
Felton.
how we get some more TikTok reels. We do hot.
That's literally
Draco.
where I saw him. It was like a hair shot of the hair. What do they call it? It wasn't like full on. He wasn't thrusting like it's Magic Mike, but he was like, it was like close up of him putting on his leather gloves and his hair and like straightening maybe a belt. I don't know. And it was a thirst trap. That's the word I'm thinking of. And then it like swings around and it's like Tom Felton. And it said, the Draco we were promised or something like that. The Draco we wanted. But anyways, now he's hot and on wherever they do that play.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people are very happy.
A lot of these ladies are, that's for sure.
Yes. And there are some people who are not happy. So let's get into the criticisms of the ship. So this is how I know about it. It's the controversies. Yes, this is my favorite part. All right. So the controversies.
This is where our natural haterade starts flowing out of us.
It's just so fun. The number one controversy is that this is still Harry Potter in the year of our Lord, 2025.
Like, have we not moved on?
Yes.
Has the zeitgeist not moved on? Like, let those little wizard kids rest in peace.
Yeah, it's kind of been it's now millennial cringe. Again, because the author won't stop talking, people kind of can't. Some
Just let it
people
go.
just don't want to deal with it at all anymore. They think, we don't want to support her or her views or anything. So we're just cutting it all off. No more Harry Potter. So our number one controversy. Number two, and a lot of this is about fan fiction. So second controversy. Some of these fan fictions are very big and are kind of become their own things. So people bind them. They create physical books using fan fiction that they did not write and then sell them, which is illegal on like multiple fronts. Because it's,
And they're not even pulling like a Raylo where they're switching up.
No, you can just go on Etsy and buy physical copies of Manacled. So it's,
which Manacle got adapted too, didn't it?
yeah, no, you can buy, now you're going to be able to buy a physical copy of Manacled too, but with
And
a
you
different
can
name
buy-
and the different the serial number is rubbed off. But yeah, that's illegal. It's copyright infringement on Harry Potter. It's also just kind of sucky to sell someone else's written work and then they don't get anything from it.
Oh, like talk about J.K. Rowling, or people are printing the book themselves and selling it.
Yeah,
Not
they're
even
printing
like
fan fiction that they don't write. Someone else writes it, puts it on the internet for free. They print it and sell it.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. And even weirder, someone gave one of these bound copies of a fan fiction, specifically Manacled, which is pretty steamy and dark and kind of like a taboo story, and gave it to Tom Felton
up.
himself.
Oh, what do you do when somebody gives that to you? Just be like, Thank.
Yeah, like
I'm sorry, I don't want to rape you. Like, please don't
Weird.
stop insinuating that I force women to have sex with me.
yeah.
Please.
So that was another. Yeah, that's the third one, and then the fourth one, like we've talked about. Now these fanfics, they're so big. It's getting the Raylo treatment where these, I guess, good for the authors. You make that bag for sure, but they're taking their fan fictions, changing just enough to not get sued, and then they're being conventionally published. So what some publishing houses have done though, as they're advertising these stories, they directly are like, "Do you know what Dramione is?" There was one released an infographic just specifically explaining Dramione and basically admitting that the book is fan fiction, which is copyright infringement. That's illegal. And then the book they publishing actually wasn't even fan fiction. And the author writes fan fiction, but the book itself isn't. So I mean, the cover obviously is playing up on the Dramione stuff, but yeah. So that one's really recent.
I thought that was a 1-to-1. I thought that was like they took Manacled and they just rewrote it as alchemized or something.
That's one of them. Yeah. So there's three. There's that one. There's one that's the fanfic, I think, was called The Auction. It's called The Rose in Chains or something.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that in my research.
That's another one. So those two were because they had
another slavery type themed.
That's the other criticism. Why is it dark? I don't know. I know stuff's out there, but I know dark romance is a thing, but I don't know why this one specifically. And then there's a third one that's a more rom-com-y, but that one, the original's still up on AO3. So I think that's the one where it's like they're changing it so much that it's not even, they can keep the fan fiction up.
Okay. Is that the one where the embarrassing ordeal of falling in love?
It has the longest possible title. Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of being in love. That it's still up, but the book being published by the author is called The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. So it seems like they've changed.
That sounds like an SEO title if I ever heard one.
The long titles. And there's like cartoon characters on the cover that are very much like,
they look like
ice blonde man. Yeah. Brunette woman.
With big curly hair.
Yep. But that one's still up. That one's a rom-com. I've heard that one actually is pretty good, so I would maybe read it, but I had other books coming. I had a bunch of books come from the library this week, so I did not read it.
Yeah, you don't have time for that. Like, I literally I didn't even get on AO3 to try to read any of this because it was too all-encompassing and there was just too much. I was overwhelmed. I don't think we even pulled the stats, did we?
No, they're really... Yeah.
Because it's too big. I mean, like, I can't go on there. And I looked through all the titles and, like, kind of try to get the themes. And like you said, it's a lot of dark stuff. A lot of the TikToks I saw were, like, very dark and, like, smoldery stuff. And it kind of, one of the criticisms that I saw, which is just a criticism that started with this and then kind of is extrapolated to all fanficking, or is that a word? Fandoming. And the term is Draco in leather pants, which just means like we take this shit character, we put him in leather pants, and now he's hot. Yeah. So the bad guy can be made redeemable or like good by being sexy. And I'm like, yep, Sauron, and the elf one, Sarandriel. I was like, yeah, he can be fixed because he's hot.
No, he's hot. So
yeah.
In my research, so the person who coined that Draco in leather pants is like a actually pretty famous author. Cassandra Clare, who got her start writing Harry Potter fan fiction.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, now it's a trope.
Oh yeah, just in other criticism. We kind of talked about it. He's a bully, and some people are into that. Some people are not into that.
I think everybody knows somebody who is mean to them, and that's not like the first thing you want to do is jump into bed with them, right? Like, I've never had an enemy that I liked secretly, like, right. I don't know. It's something that sounds good on paper when it's two attractive people, but yeah, like when your op is just somebody in HR, it's not cute.
Nope. And there are some other ships people are into. So not so much Hermione with Ron. I left that off the list.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
No. So you have Harmony, which is Harry and Hermione. I guess if you just there seems to be some general dislike for Ron, and then they just felt it more. They felt the I guess chemistry more with Harry and Hermione. I don't know.
Okay, can we talk about this Ron hatred real quick? Because so Ron and Hermione maybe came out of nowhere. Maybe it was forced. Maybe it was J.K. Rowling like trying to. And she said she did it for personal reasons, whatever the fuck that means.
Carrying a flame for a high school friend.
That's what I'm thinking. It was like somebody who she wished she had married or dated or whatever. But like, we get it. It was kind of maybe not everyone's favorite, but why do we have to hate on the dude so much? Like, I saw so many people on TikTok being like, I will read any fanfic that's like knocking Ron. I'm like, I guess he had his troubles, but I don't remember him being any much more of an ass than anybody else. Right?
And because these fics are specifically like redeeming Draco, who was way, way worse. So,
well, okay, because in my head, it's like
the shit when they're a teenager.
I thought you had to knock down Ron to make Draco seem better. Like, so in the Dramione ones, it's like, oh, okay, so you have to make Ron abusive so that being bullied in high school becomes the better alternative.
Maybe.
But it's just like, the comments were just like, they just wanted to watch Ron be humbled. Like, they didn't really care about the end romance. It was just like, we just hate Ron Weasley.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah. He was fine.
He was just.
I think Harry was way more annoying in like book 6.
Oh my god, he was so annoying in book 5. I didn't finish that. I've never finished the Half-Blood. No, Order of the Phoenix. I never got all the way through it.
I became just like insufferable for it. That was when you're like, we need to cut some of this out. This is too long. Yes. So that's one harmony. I didn't see like a whole lot about it. And then there's also for Draco, Drary, which is Draco and Harry. Which obviously, I feel it a bit more like this one.
Well, because he's obsessed. He will not let this guy go.
They're like both obsessed with each other. And that's what's great about Carry On, where you're like, why are you thinking about him so much, Simon? Like, why are you so obsessed with him?
Why is it just like, man, you know who pisses me off? Harry Potter or Draco. He's just like, I'm thinking about out of the blue, they just brings him up. You're like, oh, guess what he did today? It was just so annoying.
Harry like follows him around at one point. He's like,
they like, oh my god, they sneak into the room to hang out with him more. It's literally like obsessed.
Yes, right. Draco's Harry's nemesis. And so I saw in like Reddit, someone's like, yeah, so Hermione and Ron, sure, he's got, quips for them when they're around, but like they are to Draco what Crabbe and Goyle are to Harry. Like they're sidekicks.
Yeah. There's like nobody's shipping, Harry and Crabbe.
Yeah. Right. Like they're like barely characters.
That's all they are.
Right.
Yeah. Instead of just being Slytherin and dumb, it's just Mudblood and poor. Like that's their whole personalities to him. Yeah. That's actually Drary I like a whole lot more.
Yes. I mean, there's like way more in the books.
No, I like that. I feel like that's gonna have to be its own episode someday. Also, Harry and Snape, but no, I don't know. If
I don't like that one.
Yeah, that one's weird. But that was like when I did dabble in fan fiction when I was younger. That was like the only one I saw because I was just so curious. And then I read it and I was like, this is gross.
No. Yeah, you can't even have them come back as like adults because one of them's dead.
Yeah. It's just, Anyways, that's not what we're talking about today. So that's like some of the criticisms and some of the other couples. But there is a lot of people who be liking Dramione.
Yes.
In fact, there's a whole subreddit about it, which I thought would give me more insight, but didn't because it was just all people talking about Dramione.
Same, yeah. Or it was just like fic recs.
Right, exactly.
Which I do. Like that's, I think, kind of what this ship is. Like I said, I think it's completely removed from the canon at this point. I saw a post from 4 years ago by COVID Patient Zero on Reddit that just kind of summed it up where it said Dramione sucks, but the fan fictions are fun. Where like Dramione in the actual media is like a little too toxic.
Yeah.
But people took the concept and like the vibes and the tropes and stuff and they ran with it, and now the fan fictions are all just, that's their own thing. To be a Dramione fan is, I feel like, separate than Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, and I think that sums up where I landed too as we went through this, where it's just like doing the research, remembering the books and everything. I'm like, I don't see it at all. Whatever, but then I started watching all the fan edits and like looking at all the art, and I'm like, aw, I kind of do like it. But do I? Like I said, it's not the actual characters. It's just the fanfic fandom that like popped up around it.
Yeah, the cool art and like good actual fan fiction, like well written stuff. Yeah.
Which, we already talked about some of the top.
Yeah. Right, it's kind of the big main three.
The big main
published.
three.
Yeah.
And the first ever one, because I'm on this kick right now, was published in 1999. And it was called Across Enemy Lines by Gypsy Silverleaf. And it was published, in like the last millennia. That's how long this has been a grip. And that's well before the movies. So people were pulling things from... they were pulling them from the source material, the books. And, good for them.
Right, 1999. So I kind of wonder what book they were on. Like, how early was that?
I think it was probably like the third or fourth, right?
Yeah.
So that's when things actually got to like romancing age.
Mm. Yeah.
But okay, it's even interesting too because like so of the fan edits that I saw online, there is not only just like the stories and the AI artwork, which is creepy. I'm like, why is Tom Felton staring into my soul while I sit on the toilet, like I'm trying to cram before? I'm like, I don't like that. But there's like,
get out of here.
There's like one line or something that's using a sound on TikTok that nobody seems to be able to point to where the origin from it is. But it's just a quote where it's Ron saying, Hermione, I won't let Death Eaters into your heart. It's like, Hermione, don't look at me. Don't look at him. Look at me. And I'm like, it's just so romantic. And I don't know, like not romantic, but like, it's stirring in like a romantical way. I don't ever want to be in that situation personally. Well, maybe I do too. Guys,
she's looking at the wrong guy.
Yeah,
but like she can't help it. It is. I saw Romeo and Juliet. It's kind of Romeo and Juliet-ish.
Yes, that's the vibes. But apparently dark academia because I guess castles and Death Eaters.
Yeah,
and cool guys with guys with cool snake tattoos.
Right. I mean, so that's, I guess we're getting into it. Like, why do people like it? What exactly is it about it? Because it's not really what's in the books. But it's like book talk catnip. You got all the hits.
Yeah.
You got enemies to lovers. You got, bookish girl with a rich bad boy. You get a redemption arc. You get academic rivals. If you focus on the Hogwarts stuff, she can fix him. It's just like whatever you want.
His parents didn't love him.
Yes.
All he needs is the love of a good woman.
Yes, he's tortured. He's trauma.
It's literally 50 Shades of Grey again, right? Because she's like some bookie girl, smart girl, some rich dude takes her under his wing.
Yeah, redemption. That's a thing. Yeah, rich asshole, basically.
The rich asshole is like, come on, that's like the central theme of book talk, right?
Right. That's the thing. These are all things people are super like enemy to lovers. That gets overused. They're not even enemies. Right. Billionaire is the hero, and that's always the same character. Emotionally constipated rich guy. Maybe not a whole lot of redemption arcs, but people love morally gray heroes. I don't know if he's morally gray. He's kind of just immoral.
Well, if you make him do more good stuff in your fanfic, he becomes grayer.
Exactly. Yes. And that was some of the I guess the complaints that I saw about the ship was like, this isn't the characters.
Right.
The book. Yeah. It's again, like I said, I think it's totally different.
They just like take
unrelated.
the visage of them and then they
I don't even know if they're even using like the Harry Potter world as much. It's mostly like AUs. So yeah, completely removed. Just same names, same like hair colors.
And I mean, isn't this like the best analogy for Harry Potter as a whole, though? It's just like, it's something that has completely transcended its original constraints, right? It's this book that was written, this book series that was written by one lady, and now it's fucking huge, man. It's, it's all the fanfics and the fandoms and the artwork and the play and the off-Broadway musical and people doing puppets singing the characters' names. It's just like
a whole amusement park. You can like go there. Yeah, the whole immersive park.
Yeah, and
Universal.
so that's what this is just one of the ways that this story has spun off, right? And it's kind of crazy grown legs. And this is what when people talk about J.K. Rowling and her going off the rails They're just like, well, she doesn't really own it anymore. It's like Harry Potter is of the people at this point. So they can separate the media from the person who made it.
Especially being into this, right, where it's so far from music and it's like fan fiction, so none of it's not making any money and definitely not making her any money.
Right. And it's just like, they're like, the characters are no longer Harry Potter. They're like Santa Claus, right? They're just like, or Mickey Mouse. Ooh, that's not a good one. But like, they're just general characters.
Yeah.
The cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, it's interesting. And I'm like, I definitely like it in the sense that in the Dramione space. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when I think back to the original books and reading it, I'm like, no, this is not it at all. He was a snot. A little snot boy.
Yes. And do I think people can change from who they were in high school? Yes, thank God. Because nobody wants to be who
But do you remember every time somebody said something kind of like off color to you or like a little bit mean to you from that time? Because you're so vulnerable and anything is like waiting to be an attack on who you are as a person. Like, yeah. And I don't think you get over that. I don't know. Maybe other people are better than I don't know. From what I see people talking about on the internet, schoolyard bullying is not something you just leave behind. And
that's at best like what happes in the book,
right? Yeah. Well, and then you get into some of the fanfics too, where it's like he's, she's his handmaid, and I'm like, where's the wise? No,
I don't know. The 2 out of the 3 that are being conventionally published are like slavery in them. The other one does too. The other
like forced copulation. I think Voldemort watches at one point. I don't know
what
I don't know. I just saw a TikTok where like Tom Felton is crying in a bathroom and they're like Draco Malfoy after Voldemort watches or something like that. I don't know.
I know, Dark. I know that's a thing right now too. So this is just a lot of like what's big right now all combining.
Okay, let's be so for real. This dark romance shit is just, it's the Pornhubification of literature, right? You have to continue to push the envelope, the super stimuli, to like hit the new level. Our dopamine, we need bigger hits. That's why everything has to get bigger, more shocking. That's another tidbit from my other podcast, the super stimuli or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's what my opinion these dark romances are. They need something more and more shocking.
Yeah,
like cartels.
Right. Love cartels.
You love cartels?
No, they love cartels. And like the dark romance people love cartels. Yes.
Well, because it mixes their love of romance and dark romance with their day-to-day fears of being stolen from a Target parking lot.
It's like the Venn diagram of like people who love dark romance and people who think a lot about sex trafficking. So what is it about? It's sex trafficking. I don't know.
I guess because they're taking their fear and they're making it hot. I don't know. It's a way of coping with it.
It's like, I don't think you actually understand. What the cartel does.
Right. They're not hot. Nothing about
it's actually really bad.
How do you live in this world where you try to be a feminist, right? But then you're also just like flicking it to the darkest notions of the patriarchy. I don't know.
Which is, if we want to get into it, I was aware of this ship, and I was always a little turned off by it, even though I see it because I ship like Draco and Harry. I could get down with.
Yeah.
Like, what is my problem specifically with this? And I do think it's so straight.
It's too heterosexual.
It's like
too
heterosexual. Yeah. I don't like, like the gender norms are a bit too much I just don't like it. And it's too basic. And I don't want to shame people who like that. Good for you. But
you found something you love, but we're sipping on our haterade.
We're sipping on the haterade.
We can't have a good time.
I don't know. I think that's part of
artwork's really cute.
Yeah. I guess, I may be talking about it, come more around on it, but I think it is just, I don't want to like anything that's popular or too popular.
Well, and that's our deal with Harry Potter to begin with. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. That tracks. Just like Hermione being the extrapolation, a good example of Harry Potter transcending its source material, Hermione is also a good example of us, how we fight against the mainstream. So There you go. But it's like if you have all the building blocks in Harry Potter and there's no rules, like this is the most you can do. Maybe that's why Drary is more fun because it's like
it is right because it's I could find this. It doesn't have to be Hermione. This is like every other romantasy that's out there right now too. So
right,
yeah,
that's accurate.
Yeah, I don't particularly like romantasy because I think that's too. It's same heroes, same heroines.
It's always AU where like the dark side came out in charge and Voldemort's just watching people have sex with their handmaids. But why is it never Hermione is like the captor of Draco because he's, the good side won and he's, which I'm sure that exists out there, but probably not as much. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not getting published. That's the only thing. The one that I would maybe read, I think it's just rom-com. They're like adults living their lives. So
they run into each other maybe after a divorce and a death or something. The Astoria dies of cancer, which is like I literally saw that so often. Also, she's a bad mom too, just because she's married to the guy that you want your main character to be in love with. She has to be a bitch.
Don't think that's in the play. I think that is some retconning.
I like to think that Draco Malfoy's kids are in Hufflepuff.
Yeah. Full circle.
We got dangerously close to like trying to diagnose what makes women attracted to dark romance, and then we came back to Hufflepuff. So there you go. I think this is where we draw the line.
I think we're done. Yeah.
This might be the longest one yet.
Yeah.
Something I went in feeling like I don't feel like I have anything to say. Apparently, I had a lot to say. So before we wrap it up officially, we got to do our 1-2 pairing score. I'm conflicted because I was going to give it lower, but now I'm like, maybe.
Me too. Like I said, I came in just like not feeling it. And I did try to think about why. I feel like it's coming up more.
Right. Okay. So what's the things? Do we see it in the book? Do we see it in canon?
Right. Yeah. So do you see it? Do you want to see it? Is it hot? So I guess, do you see it? Right. That's like, do you see it in canon? That one, 0.
Yeah. Like 1 out of 10.
Do you want to see it? And is it hot? So I feel like those are the two that could kind of weight it.
Do I want to see it? I mean, like, I'm going to give that a 5 out of 10 to be fair, because I do kind of want to see it, but I also don't feel like that's fair to the Hermione character. Like, she shouldn't have to do it.
Yeah. It's like, I would read some really good fan fictions about it because I will be good enough to make up for it, but not like
if it was my friend, I would be like, don't date him.
Yes, yeah, but I don't want it for her.
I'd be like, don't let her go. It's just like that kind of thing where she can be saved or redeemed, and she just has to like compromise her morals and stuff. So I don't know. Do I want to see it? I do, kinda, but I also don't. So that's why I gave it a perfect middle 5. And then, is it hot?
Yeah,
some of it.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, that's why that's why people I think have latched on to it so much.
Not manacled. That's not hot to me. But like the whole like, don't look at him. Look at me. I'm like, oh, my heart's aflutter. Like that. I mean, but that's Ron being kind of romantic too. But that whole like drawn to someone you're not supposed to be. You know what? I'll give it. Is it hot in that context? It's 7. A 7 out of 10. What do you think?
I don't know. I think we're maybe on the same. It's almost different. It's like in canon, it's like a 0. In fan fiction, I'll give it like a 5.
Yeah, which is what I gave too.
So
because
like 5.
In the fanfic, it's gonna come around.
Right. I could be done well, and then I could be on board. But
yeah, he's gonna redeem himself. Yeah. Essentially, you know that's gonna happen because they wouldn't just put Hermione with him if he didn't.
Mm-hmm. And I see the appeal for the TikTok girlies out there because it's like a lot of other romantasy. So
right. So wait, what are your scores then? A 0, a 5, and a what?
No, I think overall, I guess like 5, 4. I don't want to give it too much high.
Out of what?
10. It's always out of 10. I like
no,
10.
but what is the rating system?
Like Harry Potter stuff, right? God, I don't know. Time Turners. That was a Hermione thing.
Yep. Okay. I was going to say 6 out of 10, I think is what it averaged out to. Maybe 5 or 6. I'm going to say solidly 6 because I came around to it. I'm a little bit warmer to it than average. I'm not lukewarm to it, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 elf freeing sucks.
Okay.
Because Hermione was all about saving the house elves, which I mean, like, girl, why did nobody else care about that? That was so fucking weird, J.K. Rowling, that there was like a slave race that was happy to be enslaved. So one of the many problems with the series.
Right. Yeah, that's something else I'm going to need Draco to come around on as well.
Early 2000s was a time where a lot of people became more woke. So maybe he came around too in his older age. Out when he got out from under the tutelage of his parents and maybe shacking up with his hippie liberal girlfriend. Showed him the ways of the world. I bet he has a braid and a feather earring.
Right. We can
dream.
Yeah.
A girl can dream. Or leather pants. Okay, now we really gotta cut it out.
Yeah. We're
okay. You can put the horse down. You can email us shiphappenssisters@gmail.com or text us that thing in there. I know texting is a little bit more vulnerable. It feels we don't see your number or anything, but like you can send us an email. Oh, and look out for us on AL3 after July 1st, potentially. And of course, we'll be back in another couple weeks with another couple. But until then, remember, ship
happens. Do 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 do.
Ship happens.
Oh, wizard.